gameplay over everything. This has been my motto for as long as I play games. So today we're going to dive into that a little bit, and stay tuned because I have community comments that I'll be going over here in a moment. But first, let's talk about why gameplay is over everything. Let's say you wanted to play Helldivers 2, the new game that everyone has been loving, but certain aspects of the gameplay you just didn't like. In my case, it's the third-person camera view. I'm not a huge fan of this, but we'll make an exception if the game is made well enough. For example, The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. That game had a story so good that I just didn't really notice the third-person view the entire time I was playing. As you can see, that doesn't mean I won't play these games. They just have to be made well enough for me to check it out and continue playing. So now I want to ask you a question. Why do you play Borderlands? Well, I asked some people in my community, and here's what they said. Grammy Clark says, looter shooter genre is oversaturated with uninspired games. Borderlands 2 really still feels like the peak. Shikuji says, I play Borderlands 3 for the characters. Love hearing Zane smack talk the entire game. Loved all the DLC. The game is smooth to play and the guns are fun and creative. The only thing I hate about Borderlands 3 is Ava. Me too, man. Me too. Customizer OG says, I love the escalation, finding guns that are mid at first while learning basic properties, then at endgame using them to their max potential by beefing them up with skills you've earned along the way. Someone Unknown says, because of combination of gunplay, character building, visual style, challenge on high OP levels, and well-written characters, quests, dialogues, etc. I agree. Geronimo Jackson says, don't remember how I discovered the series, but something about the guns, gameplay, and character/story really struck that awe and wonder spot for me. Now, these are just some. This is a very small portion of the people that I asked. So I want you to think about it and let me know in the comments like they did, because I see so many people saying they play for the story, the characters, the feel, the gameplay, or even just because they're bored. Personally, I play Borderlands for the gameplay. Story for me has always taken a backseat in my rankings of the series, and I want to dive into that because I feel like most of this community will disagree with me. Reason being, the community in my eyes has always been more story oriented than anything. But just hear me out. When I played Borderlands 1, I loved the weapon progression systems that they had because they gave you a reason to use weapons you normally would just pass on. When I played Borderlands 2, I loved the raid bosses in the game like Pyropete, Vermivorous, Chromarax, and Terramorphous. These bosses made the game a much better experience for me because I could not only use them as a benchmark for my build, but also to test myself at how good I was at the game. When I played Borderlands 3, I loved the movement they added, like sliding and mantling. Not only that, but I also love the takedowns they put in because I always wanted something like that in Borderlands 2, but we never saw it. My only complaint with takedowns was the raid bosses couldn't be farmed without doing the entire takedown. Finally, when I play Wonderlands, I love dual classing because it gave so many different possibilities for builds. Granted, it wasn't as good as we thought it would be, but the idea for me was good enough. Also, melee weapons were pretty cool as well, but I say all of this to say, when I look back at the series, I don't ever think about the stories each game told. I think about the fun I had playing each entry and making new characters to go level and farm, then rinse and repeat. Because to me, that's what makes Borderlands fun. The gameplay. The story has never been a make or break for me. Although Borderlands 3's story was trash, that didn't change the enjoyment I had playing it, and I'm still hopeful for what the next game in the series will bring, which takes us into the next part of the video, and that's what I want to see in Borderlands 4. Personally, I'd like to see a few things in the next game, so I'll lay them out and you can decide for yourself if they would be good or not. First, I'd like to see dialogue skip from launch, because Borderlands 3 could have definitely used it. Second, I'd like to see more movement tech, maybe double jumping or dashing, like from the Redux mod. Third, more character customization like we saw with Wonderlands. Fourth, raid bosses that aren't attached to takedowns and can be farmed like normal bosses, such as the ones from Borderlands 2. Fifth, dedicated loot drops at launch. Borderlands 3 suffered because of the lack of dedicated drops, and I don't think we want to do that again. So please, for the love of God, Gearbox, have dedicated loot drops at launch. These are my main wants for the next game, and I guess you could throw a decent story in as well, but with the crystal from New Tales most likely being canon, I don't think it's possible for the story to meet our expectations, but who knows, maybe they'll make a banger. Here's hoping. Next, I want to talk about another game's features and how Borderlands 4 can take inspiration from them and implement a version of it into their game. Now, the game I'm about to talk about has made me completely abandon every other game like it because it just does this genre so much better than the others, and that game is Path of Exile. This game has a ton of features that I think could work in Borderlands 4, but the main one that I'd like to see come over is Ascendancies. An Ascendancy is a sort of mastery tree for your specific character. I think Gearbox could take this idea and use it for the augments in the next game, because Borderlands 3's augments felt very overpowered just to be unlocked for free. I would personally implement the system like this. First, you would have to get to max level, then you would have to do a sort of chaos chamber trial to unlock a skill point for your augment tree. Then, you could choose an augment and level it as you play. Boom. A new system that doesn't fundamentally change the formula of Borderlands, but just freshens it up a bit. I think this would make the game so much better, but let me know what you think in the comments. The main goal of this video, though, was to start a conversation on why we all genuinely enjoy playing the Borderlands games, or even any game for that matter, and I hope I've done that here today. I try to read all my comments, so feel free to ask anything or even say hi. Also, a like helps me out a ton, and if you want to see more of my content, subbing is the best way. Other than that, thank you for clicking and watching till now, and just so I know you have, comment poop train so I know you're a real one. Jesus Christ, why did I do that? And just so I know you have, comment poop train so I know you're a real one. Anyways, see you in the next one. Have a good day. Goodbye.